Hello guys and welcome to the first live eviction of the year. That is right. We had Nathan, Dean, Baked Potato and Ryan all facing the public vote, and one of their times has come to an end in the Big Brother house, and I'm very, very excited to talk about this very crazy, very chaotic and very interesting eviction episode. But before we get into the episode, I just want to say thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. Do all that YouTube stuff that you guys do so well. And let's get into the video, shall we? So, we need to talk about Marcello, because he is becoming a bit of a nuisance and a menace inside the Big Brother house. And we've noticed it over the last couple of episodes. It's felt a little bit uncomfortable and a little bit weird. But it's now getting to the point where I actually think he's being quite predatory and quite nasty in some of his actions and behaviour. Now, he might not be doing it on purpose, but it's still coming across in a very negative and unfortunate way. And I just think that, like, it shouldn't. I think people need to remember that they're on TV and that they can't necessarily get away with shit like this, especially on this kind of show where the public are voting for you. So it's just making me feel uncomfortable. The first thing I want to talk about with Marcello was him teasing Sarah and flirting very heavily handed with Baked Potato. I just thought the whole Sarah thing, she is a little bit sensitive about the fact that she does have a boyfriend. She doesn't want anybody flirting with her, which fair enough, fair and valid. I completely understand that. He's then playing it a little bit up and he's like, oh, ha 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 ha. And she's like, no, stop. And then he's like, well, I'm telling your boyfriend that I don't want your misses. I've got too many misses. He says, ha 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 ha. And it just came across a little bit like, ew. Like, I just felt a little bit icky after listening to him because he just made me feel a bit uncomfortable. And then he starts laying it on thick with Baked Potato. And then there was the whole hilarious moment of talking about BDSM and Sarah clamming up and being like, I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to talk about it. And then Sarah does BDSM, pass it on. That was a hilarious moment. But back to the Marcello issue. Because later on in the episode, we had a very unsettling, unnerving incident that it was so weird and uncomfortable that ITV had to show footage from the smoking area, which they don't do. They made it a purpose-built room for people to vape, smoke, do what they needed to do outside of the camera eye. But obviously there's still camera in there for security purposes. And the fact that they had to use that footage just goes to show how damaging this scenario could have been if they hadn't had that footage. There was a moment where both Ali and Marcello were inside the smoking area. I was under the impression it was one at a time, but I could be wrong. They might have changed it this series. But as far as I'm aware, they were exchanging vapes and like trying each other's vapes. And then Marcello was like, oh, we basically just had a vape kiss. And Ali was like, that's not a thing. Grow up, basically. Left. And then when they left, Marcello was like, oh, me and Ali just kissed in there. Now, Ali has a girlfriend at home, and obviously this made her very uncomfortable because she's standing there going, no, we didn't, and he's like playing it up for laughs. But it just came across as a little bit predatory, and then he turns around and goes, oh, you walked in after me, you knew what you were going in there for. And it's just like, ugh, it feels slimy and gross and weird and uncomfortable, and it just made me feel a bit ill and grotty watching it. Like, there's not many times on Big Brother where someone creeps me out and makes me feel uncomfortable, but this was certainly one of those times. And then he was like bigging it up later. Like, Ali was like, can you apologize? And he was like, yeah. And then he like doubled down on it, and then he apologized again and was like, oh, I was just joking. I just don't get good vibes from this man. Like, I just don't feel comfortable in his presence. And I wonder if he's going to do something over the next couple of weeks that's going to get him ejected from the house. Not even like evicted, just like he's going to get booted out the back door by production because he's done something that's seriously troubling. This was not an okay thing, and the fact that they had to show that footage to prove that nothing happened is ludicrous to me, because he shouldn't be making claims like that in an area where there's technically meant to be no cameras, and the only camera in there is just for security purposes. It was literally filmed on like a potato camera. That was how bad the footage was. So it was so jarring jumping from like HD to brr. Oh God, Marcello, sort yourself out, mate, because you're actually like feeling a little bit grotty and gross. I don't like it, I can't lie. So we had the outcome of the shopping challenge, and I gotta say, they did horrendously. They apparently had a total of 5 fails to lose the challenge, right? They had 5 fails and then they lost. They managed to get 51 fails in one day, which is absolutely ludicrous and crazy. That is hysterical. And those fails were not limited to Marcello eating a bit of watermelon that he shouldn't have, Ryan eating 2 of the sausages, Sarah calling Martha a rotisserie chicken whilst doing the aqua aerobics class, Lily sitting on people's laps, Lily eating a sausage, Lily falling asleep. There were 51 fails and that was only 6 of them. That is hysterical. That is so funny. I don't think we've had a shopping challenge failed this spectacularly in yonks. So funny. And honestly, it just makes me love this cast even more, because how iconic do you have to be to lose 51 times? Like, I thought they did quite well yesterday. I thought they did quite well. But 51 is craziness. I really need, like, Big Brother to make, like, a little short clip of, like, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it just, like, every time they show, like, a clip, it, like, counts up one more. Almost like a montage. I just need that to see what the 51 things were, because honestly, it was hilarious to see. So they had the return of the chalkboard and the shopping booklet. I really did miss that last series. I thought last series was a little bit dull with the iPads. I was like, yeah, bring it into the 21st century, but like the chalkboard causes so much aggro and arguments and confusion, and the maths, trying to work out how much you've actually spent, is hilarious. Somehow Hannah managed to overshoot by £46, which is absolutely wild and crazy. Something went wrong there, and I don't actually know what. But yeah, I was just genuinely surprised and shocked about how crazy this was. How crazy this really, really was. I really enjoyed watching them like sort it all out. Hannah was basically like, look, let's get the stuff that for people's like dietary requirements first, and then let's sort out like the snacks and stuff like that afterwards. And I thought that was a fair and like legit way to do it. Most of the house literally could not care less. They walked off and it was left to like 5 or 6 people to sort it out. And then they were like, well, no one can complain because they weren't here to sort it out. I know that as soon as you're put on a sort of budget shopping amount, I can't think of the words, but the words are not coming to my mouth. My mouth. Ah! Yeah. I really, really loved this section of the episode. It was so nice. It felt like OG Big Brother. It felt like we were back. But Hannah overshooting by £46 is actually crazy. I think it was like £46.60. So, like, it was actually a crazy amount that they went over. Kind of a fat L, I can't lie. So, the task for this episode was a link chain. There was essentially this statement, and it linked to 2 people. And then the next statement, someone needed to stand in the middle if they agreed with both statements. It was fairly confusing, and I gotta say, some of them were really boring, like, has had plastic surgery. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. But some of them were very interesting. Marcello and Thomas both said that they wanted Trump to be president. Thomas, because he was like, oh, yeah, I just think he's a funny guy. Like, he's meme-worthy. And I was just like, oh, this idiot. You don't pick your president based on who's funny and who's not. Like, come on. Like, if we're talking about who's really funny, it's Kamala. Like, come on. But anyway, it is what it is. I don't know why Marcello wanted Trump to be president, but I get the feeling that he is very much a Trump supporter. He gives me those vibes. He certainly does not respect women as much as he says he does. So we also had Ryan, I think it was Ryan, Khaled, and Shegan all saying that like society is too woke, which like depends what your like meaning of the word woke is, because like it's just for those 3. I don't know. It might differ for all 3 of them. But anyway, We managed to get there. I actually think it only took them one attempt, and Sarah was starting to get, like, quite pissed off with the whole vibe of it. She's like, oh, no one's listening to me. No one's listening to me. No. And then went to go stand by the chain, and then they did it, and they got it. And they were told that they won a Chinese takeaway. And when I tell you that little Miss Lily threw a massive celebration party. She was literally screaming. She was throwing herself all over the gaff. All over the gaff. She was absolutely loving it. And then they found out that only 5 of them could have it. So they decided to give it to the workers. And the best line of the entire episode was someone going, I think we should go give it to the workers yesterday because they did work hard. And then Lily going, yeah, I did work hard. Me and my friend watched it and we were howling. It was hysterical. It was hilarious. I loved it. Big hearts to Lily. We love her. She's incredible. She actually is making this series 10 times better. And I just love her for it. I think she's so lovely and sweet. And she's just, oh, it's just, yay. So the last thing I wanted to talk about before we get into the eviction was the drag show, and that was a hysterical part of the episode. I love the fact that they're just making their own entertainment up. You had Martha, Baked Potato and Nathan all dressed up as drag kings and queens, and they just gave a brilliant performance. You had the judges panel, you had the audience. It was just good vibes and hilariously entertaining. Like, I wish we'd gotten to see more of that. I know that it was obviously shown on feeds, but as someone who doesn't watch feeds because I don't know, I've got other stuff to watch, do you know what I mean? I'll just watch whatever happens in the episodes. But I wish that they'd shown more of that in the episode. But I understand they were pressed for time and they probably also had a lot to show with the whole Marcello incident. So, you know, priorities. But it was such a funny part of the episode and I really appreciated it. And I think they should be doing more stuff like this. If I was in there, I'd be like doing loads of different games, loads of different things, just finding some way of passing the time because it must be so dull in there all day, just doing nothing until there's a task. Do you know what I mean? So we have the eviction now, and the eviction was a wild one. It wasn't actually that wild. Ryan was the person who got evicted, and to no one's surprise, yeah, I don't think it was to anyone's surprise. I think we all knew that Ryan was going. I think the other 3 bring something to the house. I think as much as you might disagree with Nathan's politics, he is a genuinely entertaining person on the show. He has arguments with Days. He brings up difficult discussions. You might not agree with his views, but he is bringing something to this show. Same with Baked Potato. Same with Dean. Ryan, outside of stealing a sausage and being a sausage gobbler, I just don't think he was doing anything. And he was boring. And I just can't get over how stupid the spoon comment was. Why would you say that in your VT? That's ridiculous. But anyway, he has gone. I didn't watch Late and Live. I had to leave my friends around about the time that the eviction ended anyway. And I heard that Late and Live crashed. It just stopped and like went off air. So I have no idea what happened there. I'm going to have to catch up later. But I'm sure his exit interview was not that interesting, I'll be honest. I probably read like 2 notes to give. So I just won't bother. But anyway, we are going to move on to iconic quotes and moments. And boy, do we have some doozies. So, our first iconic moment had to be when they woke up. Lily ran over to Ali's bed, showed her a picture, I think, of her pet hamster. And it was like this little like hamster face that was just smushed up against the camera. Oh, it was hilarious. It was brilliant. I do love the fact that there's like a little clique going on between like Ali, Nathan and Lily. I think Lily absolutely adores Ali, and I think Ali also really likes Lily. I think those two have bonded so well in this house. And then Lily was telling a story about when her cat got run over. She wasn't allowed to bury or like cremate it or like stuff it because it wasn't her cat. She had found it on the streets and just brought it home. Lily actually leads the most crazy life, and like I actually don't think I've ever met somebody on a reality show that has so many crazy stories to tell. It's like every story she tells with a straight face, and she's like, yeah, no, this happened to me, and everyone else is pissing themselves laughing because they're like, what do you mean that happened? What do you mean? So next up we have Lily's messy wardrobe. Guys, I actually cannot get over how messy that wardrobe is. And when she was asked, do you want to clean it up? She was just like, nah. I've met people like Lily. I'm best friends with people like Lily. I'm shouting you out, Miss Erin. But I have to say, very, very entertaining. And just like my friends, very, very entertaining. But I just can't get over the messy wardrobe. Like, there's nothing on hangers. There's nothing folded up. It's just in a massive pile that she has to dig through every time she wants to find something to wear. I don't think I could live like that. I don't think I could. Like, my wardrobe is quite messy as it is, but that's because I've got the tiniest wardrobe in the world. Whereas they have got a very nice, spacious wardrobe from what it seems like. So, I don't know. I feel like she's got no excuses. And the last iconic quote moment had to be when Lily went to go get the Chinese. And instead of bringing it out to everybody, she just stood in the storage room eating her chicken balls. Just like, oh, she was chomping. She was enjoying that. She was living it up. Living it up. Oh, it was brilliant. Oh, it was just, mwah, mwah, mwah. I loved it. Excellent. 10 out of 10. She's hilarious. I love her vibe so much. She's amazing. I just love it. It's great. So, guys, thank you for watching the Big Brother live eviction recap. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that YouTube stuff that you guys do so well. And I will see you guys later. But I will make sure to have the next part up, which will be Sunday and Mondays, up on Tuesday. So you won't have to wait too long for your next dose of Big Brother action. But until then, keep on ranting. And I'll see you guys later. Bye now.